Those complaining about the running back market in the NFL need to get off my lawn.
Democratic.
This week, Saquon Barkley and Josh Jacobs failed to sign new contracts with the Giants and Raiders, respectively, which prompted harsh criticism from backs across the league, such as Derrick Henry and Austin Eckler and Christian McCaffrey. Now, I'm all for guys getting paid as much as possible. Shoot, that's what I'm trying to do in my profession. But the game of football has consistently evolved over time. And in its current state, making backs among the highest paid players on a team, no matter how elite they may be, has proven not to be a winning strategy. In addition, backs average the shortest careers of any position. Now, if we're talking about fantasy football, the perceived value between running backs and, say, quarterbacks would flip instantaneously because the nature of the competition is different and the market value has changed. Look, one of the most valuable people in my life is the guy who changes my brake pads. His skill set can mean the difference in life or death for my family. So I pay him as much money as it takes to keep us safe on the road and not one penny extra because he's not the only one who can do that job successfully. Compensating more than necessary while attempting to achieve goals is not smart business. In the NFL teams, they're in the business of winning Super Bowls. Take the team that just won it, the Kansas City Chiefs. They did so with a starting rookie running back drafted in the 7th round, and they're not an anomaly. Examine the Super Bowl champions over the past decade: Patriots, Rams, Bucks, Eagles. Then compare their running back cap hits. I understand the frustration. Some of these guys are the best football players in the league, not just at their position. And perhaps the Players Association will address this issue in the next collective bargaining agreement by reducing rookie years or altering franchise tags. But until that happens, it makes no sense blaming GMs or owners or even the salary cap because the percentage of a team's budget that's spent on backs will remain the same even if the cap goes up. Saying $13 million a year is a criminal offer because these guys deserve more money for taking so many hits in a football game. It gets little sympathy from me when my neighbor runs into burning houses every day, saving people's lives for $50,000 a year. So stay off my lawn.
Oh, man.
Love it. Get off his lawn, y'all.
Y'all, stop. Just why are you on his lawn right now? And are we going to start having position, union groups? Like the running back? You know that just everybody's in a group chat.
That's an
And then they hit up
question.
like RG3. Like at what point is it like, all right, well, we have the players union, but no, we also have the tight ends union. We also have the running backs union. This, I don't know why, but ever since this has come up, I just think about Ben Stiller and Along Came Polly.
Mm-hmm.
Like being the insurance guy, like this is how they look at it. Like I'm not going to insure somebody that's a daredevil, okay, that skydives every day because it's not the smart money play. Nobody is doing this out of spite.
Yeah.
Nobody is doing this because they hate people or that, running backs, they're just not important. Nobody's saying they're not important. What they're saying is you can get a cheaper deal on them and still win. Because guess what? The most important positions are up front and a quarterback. That's just the truth. Look at the draft, right? I mean, look where Bijan Robinson and Jahmyr Gibbs got taken. Everybody's like, oh my God, I can't believe they got drafted there. Now, Bijan, to me, is the only one that made sense to draft. I can understand that to a certain extent, but there is no malice or nefariousness behind this. But on the same hand, two things can be true at once. I get them being pissed off, right? I understand it. Now, some of the verbiage and some of the things they're saying, I think are a little bit over the top, but we see this all the time. I mean, you got a writer's strike going on in Hollywood right now.
And actor.
And actor,
Now,
which, I hope Hollywood, I could give a damn about that. But, I mean, I get both sides of it. You want to make as much money as possible when you're running into other human beings at full speed. It is dangerous. I get it. You can look at the science. But if you're in the business of winning and trying to do the smartest thing with your money, and you can get the same thing at Dollar General as you can at Sprouts, then I'm going to Dollar General.
Yeah, Blaine, to Saquon Barkley and Josh Jacobs' credit, really, they haven't been saying anything in the public. I mean, they're saying, hey, we're just trying to get a deal done. And it's everyone else. And I saw Richard Sherman's take on this too, weighing in on the Volume podcast. Again, everyone seems to be saying the same thing. Is like, these guys deserve their money.
They're all talking to each other.
These guys deserve their money, and you should pay them. And I'm like, what experience do you have as a GM in terms of like allocating value and resources to different position groups on the team? I don't understand.
Yeah, they're friends. They're all, it's like RG3 tweeting, but they're friends. They're hitting each other up, saying if we get enough people to do this, okay, are we going to have a running back strike? Like, I'm being dead serious. Like, are we going to have where the running backs are just...
Because someone else will step in and do it.
I know, but we've seen this before.
I didn't see any halfbacks complaining when the game changed and evolved away from fullbacks.
No,
we're not lining up in 22.
But again, that didn't affect them negatively.
They used to be the stars on the team and the most important piece, especially when you go back through those Super Bowl teams in the 90s and you're looking at guys like Emmitt Smith, and you could clearly see that it was just a different game.
The game's different.
We haven't a Pro Bowl running back on a Super Bowl winning team since 2013.
Marshawn Lynch, exactly.
Marshawn Lynch. So, I mean, in my opinion, if you're the top guys should get paid, but the longevity of being a running back is just, you are what the market bears, in my opinion. And there's obviously, you roster a lot more running backs than you do kickers. So a lot of people a lot of these numbers are misconstrued, in my opinion. But I mean, you just look at it right now, and I don't even think you go back to the Bijan Robinson contract. I think Bijan's a great player, but I definitely don't think he's worth the top 10 pick. Running backs right now are late first round, if first round.
Well, let me say this about Bijan. You can split Bijan out, and he can play slot. He can play wide receiver. I think Bijan's a little bit different. Because what about those guys that are two-way players, right? What about like a Brock Bowers, who can run the ball, who can catch the ball, who can block? Like I think Bijan is, there's an anomaly to everything, right? There's always an exception to the rule. Like Bijan Robinson is on a different level, at least projection-wise. We'll see. It may not work out in the NFL. I don't know. But I could put Bijan out wide right now in the NFL, and he could be a problem. So I think we need to make sure.
Bring up that graphic. Do you have that graphic back there of the Super Bowl winning team since 2009? And the leading rusher. Okay.
Yeah.
The first time I read this was a little bit confusing. So I want to make sure off the bat, this is not the leading rushers for the season for each team. Okay. This is the leading rusher in the Super Bowl game, which I understand is not the same thing, but this was the data available. The leading rusher in the Super Bowl game since 2009. The person that's done that has not had a base salary over $2.5 million.
James Stark's making $320. He's making $320 a year.
Now, the 2013 when the Seahawks, like Blaine was saying, that would have been Marshawn Lynch was the leading rusher for the season, but Percy Harvin led the team in rushing in that game.
When the last guy broke 1,000 yards is on that list. Did Leonard break it in 2020?
And a lot of people are saying, well, that's just because Tom Brady and Patrick Mahomes are some of the best to ever do it, and they've been winning all the recent Super Bowls. That's the point we're talking about.
The game's
Everyone's trying to allocate their resources to finding that next guy instead of locking themselves up in a top 5 running back pick who you have to pay $30, $40 million.
You don't know. You're so banged up if you're a running back. Like, that's the thing with Saquon. You want to get paid all this money. Like, bro, this is like last year was like the first healthy year you've had when it comes to the NFL. Yeah. So, excuse me, great talent for sure, but excuse me if I'm somewhat wary of paying all this money when I watch maybe your knee go out again in week 3.
Yeah. Hey, YouTube, thanks for checking in with us. Make sure you subscribe. It's football season, baby. It's here. Whether it's college, whether it's the NFL, we got you covered like a warm blanket in the wintertime. So hit that like button, turn that notification bell on, and subscribe.